All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into a film that, well, I'd say it's more than just a film. It's a cultural touchstone.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about E.T., the
Correct.
Extra-Terrestrial.
A classic.
Yeah, and we're not just going to, like, reminisce about the cute alien and the glowing finger. I mean, we all love that stuff. But we're going deeper.
Absolutely.
We've got this fantastic film analysis that you were kind enough to share with me, and we're going to use it to really understand what makes E.T. so enduringly powerful. Like, why decades later, that image of the bike, flying across the moon.
Oh, I know.
Still gives us chills. Why is that?
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think one of the things about E.T. that's so fascinating is that it's so much more than a children's film.
Okay.
It really is a masterclass in visual storytelling. I mean, it weaves together plot, character, and theme and just creates this incredibly immersive experience.
So let's break that down a little bit because, I mean, we all know this story, right? We've got Elliot, the lonely kid, finds a stranded alien. They form a bond. There's danger. And then there's that, that thrilling escape.
Absolutely.
But what makes this, more than just your typical alien encounter movie?
Right. Well, Spielberg is so clever because he actually uses the plot structure itself to kind of mirror Elliot's emotional journey. So it starts with this sense of mystery and like otherworldly wonder as we see the spaceship landing.
Right.
But we're seeing it through the eyes of a child, right? We're immediately drawn into Elliot's perspective.
Yes.
And we experience that world through his eyes.
And that's key, right? Is like we're right there with him, discovering E.T., feeling that fear of getting caught.
Yes.
And then sharing in the pure joy of their connection.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not just a story being told, it's an experience that we're invited into.
Exactly. And, and I think what's also so powerful about the film is that Spielberg doesn't shy away from, like the darker elements of childhood too. I mean, we see Elliot dealing with his parents' divorce. He's feeling isolated and out of place.
Yeah.
And so that vulnerability, it makes his bond with E.T. even more profound because, they're both outsiders, right?
Right.
And they're both just searching for connection, for someone who understands them.
Which brings us to like the heart of this film. That incredible friendship between Elliot and E.T. I mean, it's so much more than just, kids hanging out.
Yeah.
There's a real depth to it. Like, they complete each other in a way.
Absolutely. And their friendship, it challenges these societal norms, right? And it pushes us as viewers to rethink our own definitions of what connection can be. E.T. being like the ultimate other represents everything that is unfamiliar and potentially threatening, right? But Elliot, with his childlike innocence, embraces him without question. It's such a powerful lesson in empathy and acceptance.
And such a contrast to the adult world that's depicted in the film too.
Exactly.
Like the government agents with their sterile suits and their suspicion. It's like they represent this world that is just lost
its wonder.
Yeah, its capacity for wonder and connection.
Yes.
And they see E.T. as this threat, and Elliot sees him as a friend.
Right. It's that tension between childlike wonder and adult skepticism. Yeah. Which is like a recurring theme in a lot of Spielberg's work, right? It's like he's reminding us that sometimes children see things most clearly. Yeah. And their innocence allows them to bridge these divides that adults often create.
So we've got this incredible plot, these thought-provoking themes.
Yeah.
But what of the characters themselves? I mean, Henry Thomas as Elliot
he's brilliant.
Gives this performance that is both heartwarming and heartbreaking.
Absolutely. His portrayal of Elliot's vulnerability, and just his fierce loyalty to E.T. It anchors the entire film. You just see the full spectrum of childhood emotions play out on his face. Yeah. The joy, the fear, the anger.
Right.
And just the deep unconditional love.
We can't forget Drew Barrymore as Gertie.
Oh, she's amazing.
He brings this incredible energy and humor to the film.
Yes.
And she's a reminder that, even in the midst of all the danger and uncertainty, childhood still has that room for laughter and lightheartedness.
It does. Her interactions with E.T. are pure gold.
Oh, they're great.
I mean, she's totally unfazed by his appearance.
Right.
She treats him with that same curiosity and openness as Elliot does.
Yeah.
And her innocence just adds this layer of like sweetness and humor that balances out some of the more intense moments of the film.
Okay, so we've got plot, themes, characters.
Right.
But But we can't forget about the visual magic that Spielberg creates.
Yeah.
Even for a film made in 1982, the effects are still so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
How do they do that?
Well, I mean, Carlo Rambaldi's design of E.T. was groundbreaking for its time.
He combined animatronics and puppetry to create this character that was incredibly lifelike and expressive.
Yeah.
I mean, E.T.'s eyes in particular, they're mesmerizing.
Yeah.
They convey so much emotion.
Yeah.
And they just draw the audience in and really solidify that connection with Elliot.
It's not just about E.T. himself, though, right? I mean, Spielberg's use of cinematography is masterful.
Absolutely.
Those low-angle shots, for example.
Yes.
I mean, those aren't just there to be cute.
No, they're very intentional.
They actually serve a purpose, right?
They do. Those low angles, they really immerse us in Elliot's perspective.
Right.
We literally see the world from his point of view.
Yeah.
And it makes the adults seem larger and more imposing, which adds to that sense of tension and danger, right?
Yeah.
We feel Elliot's smallness and vulnerability
Yeah.
in this world that can often feel very overwhelming.
And speaking of immersive, I mean, we can't move on without talking about John Williams' score.
That music is practically a character in itself.
It is. The score is absolutely essential to the film's emotional impact, you know?
Yeah.
Williams uses music to amplify every scene.
Right.
From that whimsical wonder of E.T.'s arrival to the heart-pounding suspense of those chase scenes.
That's true.
And he just evokes this sense of, like, childlike awe and possibility that just stays with you long after the film is over.
It's incredible how he makes you feel exactly what the characters are feeling.
Right.
Like those soaring melodies during the bike slide scene.
Yes.
Pure magic.
Pure magic.
And then those quiet, almost mournful notes when E.T. is sick. You can't help but feel Elliot's despair.
It's true. Williams just understood the power of music to tell a story without words.
Yeah.
His score for E.T. is a masterclass in using music to evoke emotion, create atmosphere, and deepen that connection between the characters and the audience. And it's no wonder it's considered one of the greatest film scores of all time.
Okay, so we've got plot, characters, visuals, music. But there's another layer to E.T. that I think we should explore.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the symbolism that's woven throughout the film.
Yes, E.T. is so rich with symbolism, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's so enduring. I mean, take, for instance, E.T.'s glowing heart.
Right.
It's not just a cool visual effect.
Right.
It's a symbol of his life force, right?
Sure.
His connection to his own kind. But it also becomes the symbol of the love and empathy that he shares with Elliot.
It's like their hearts are literally connected.
Yes.
And that connection transcends all their differences.
It does.
And then there are the Reese's Pieces.
Oh, yes.
Originally meant to be M&Ms.
Right.
You know, this little detail that became such an iconic part of the film and pop culture. But it's more than just clever product placement, right?
Right.
There's a deeper meaning there.
Well, I mean, those Reese's Pieces, they represent E.T.'s introduction to human culture. But they also symbolize, you know, those simple pleasures of childhood that kind of connect us all, right? It's a reminder of that childlike wonder and delight in discovering new things.
And what about that wilting plant that E.T. revives?
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's not just a random detail either, right?
No, that plant is such a brilliant visual metaphor for E.T.'s own health and vitality. As his health deteriorates, the plant wilts.
Right. Okay.
And as he recovers, the plant flourishes.
Right.
It's symbolizing hope and resilience and the interconnectedness of all living things.
Which brings us to something I've always found interesting about the film, and that's its pacing.
Okay.
Spielberg takes his time letting the story unfold.
He does.
It's a slow burn compared to, you know, the kind of action-packed sci-fi we often see today.
Right.
Why is that so important?
Well, think about how many films today just rush through their storylines and they bombard us with action and special effects.
Right.
But E.T. takes a very different approach. It slows down. It lingers on those small moments.
Yeah.
Those quiet interactions between Elliot and E.T.
Yeah.
That reveal the depth of their bond.
It's like we're watching a friendship unfold in real time.
Exactly.
You know, we see them playing together, sharing secrets, learning to communicate despite their differences. And those moments just wouldn't have the same impact if they were rushed.
They wouldn't.
Right.
No, that slow burn allows us to savor those moments,
Yeah.
to fully immerse ourselves in the emotional landscape of the film.
Right.
We feel Elliot's joy as he introduces E.T. to his world.
Yeah.
We feel his heartbreak as E.T.'s health deteriorates.
And those moments of quiet contemplation, they're beautifully punctuated by,
Yes.
those bursts of action and suspense, the chase scene through the woods, the bike flight across the moon. They're so thrilling precisely because they're earned.
Exactly.
We're so invested in these characters by that point
Yes.
that the stakes feel incredibly high.
They do. Spielberg understands that contrast is key to creating a truly engaging cinematic experience. Those quiet moments, they make the loud ones more impactful.
Right.
And those moments of tension make the moments of joy even more precious.
It's just a masterclass in storytelling.
It is.
And speaking of mastery, I mean, we have to talk about the ending of the film.
Oh, yes.
It's one of the most iconic and emotionally resonant endings in cinematic history.
That farewell scene at the spaceship.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece of visual and emotional storytelling. The glowing finger, the tearful goodbye, the promise to remember.
Yeah.
It's all just so perfectly executed, and it leaves you with, a lump in your throat.
Right.
But also a sense of hope and wonder.
It's a bittersweet ending.
It is.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly powerful. And it reminds us that even the most profound connections can be temporary.
They can.
And that sometimes saying goodbye is the greatest act of love.
It is.
And it leaves us with this lingering question. What happens next?
Right.
Did E.T. ever return? Did Elliot ever forget his extraordinary friend?
It's those unanswered questions that are part of the film's magic,
Right.
It invites us to imagine our own endings and to carry the story with us long after the credits have rolled.
It's interesting how E.T. manages to be both timeless and incredibly relevant to our current moment.
What do you mean?
Well, we live in a world that feels increasingly divided.
Yeah.
Where fear and suspicion often overshadow empathy and understanding.
Right.
And E.T. offers a powerful antidote to that.
It does.
Right. It reminds us that connection is possible even across these vast differences.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we all share the same basic needs for love and belonging and connection.
Right.
And it's a challenge to approach the world with curiosity and openness.
Right.
And to see the humanity in others, even when they seem different from us.
It's a message we need now.
We do.
More than ever.
Yes.
And that message is delivered not through preachy dialogue or heavy-handed moralizing.
Right.
But through this beautifully crafted story.
Yes.
About a boy and his alien friend.
It's a testament to the power of art.
Yeah.
To transcend cultural and generational boundaries and to speak to something universal within us.
E.T. is more than just a film.
It is.
It's a cultural touchstone, a reminder of the power of imagination and a timeless message of hope and connection.
And it continues to inspire and delight audiences of all ages.
Yeah.
Which just proves that its magic is truly enduring.
All right. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Exploring E.T.'s plot, characters, themes, visual brilliance, and its enduring legacy.
Yes.
But there's one final thought I want to leave you with.
What if E.T. isn't really about aliens at all? What if it's actually a reflection of our own human experiences, our own encounters with the other, those people or situations that challenge our comfort zones?
You're kind of blowing my mind here. I never thought about it like that, but it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have those moments, right, where you meet someone from a completely different background or where you're faced with this new idea that just kind of shakes up your whole worldview.
Yeah.
It can be unsettling.
It can be. It can be very unsettling. And in those moments, we face a choice, right? Do we react with fear, with judgment, with this desire to push away the unfamiliar?
Right.
Or do we choose to be like Elliot, approaching the other with curiosity, with a willingness to listen and learn?
I mean, think about it. Elliot could have just as easily dismissed E.T. as this creepy creature and just run away.
Right.
But he doesn't. He sees something in E.T., this vulnerability, this need for connection that mirrors his own.
Exactly.
And in that moment, he chooses empathy over fear.
And that choice transforms both of them. E.T. finds safety in friendship.
Right.
And Elliot discovers this depth of compassion and understanding that he never knew he had.
So are you saying that E.T. isn't just this heartwarming story? It's like a challenge
I think that
to the audience. It's asking us to examine our own reactions
I think so.
to the other in our lives.
Absolutely. It's an invitation to reflect on those moments when we've encountered the alien in our own world.
Right.
And did we build walls or did we build bridges? You know, did we allow fear to dictate our actions or did we choose empathy and understanding?
Wow, I'm seeing this film in a whole new light now.
Yeah.
It's like Spielberg is saying, look, we all have these E.T. moments. The question is, how will you respond?
Exactly. And the film, it offers us a roadmap. Right. It shows us that connection is possible, even across vast differences.
Right.
It teaches us that vulnerability can be a source of strength and that empathy can be the key to unlocking these extraordinary experiences.
Okay, so we've talked about these deeper layers of meaning in E.T.
Right.
But I kind of want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, and that's the film's pacing.
Yes.
It's so deliberate, so patient.
It is.
Why is that so important?
Well, think about how many films today they rush through their storyline, bombarding us with action and special effects. Right.
Right.
But E.T. takes a very different approach. It slows down. It lingers on these small moments, you know, those quiet interactions between Elliot and E.T. that just reveal the depth of their bond.
It's like we're watching a friendship unfold in real time.
Yes.
You know, we see them playing together, sharing secrets, learning to communicate despite their differences.
And those moments, I mean, they wouldn't have nearly the same impact if they were rushed.
They wouldn't.
No. The slow burn, it allows us to savor those moments, to fully immerse ourselves in the emotional landscape of the film.
And those moments of quiet contemplation, they're just so beautifully punctuated by you know, those bursts of action and suspense.
Yeah.
The chase scene through the woods, the bike flight across the moon.
Exactly.
I mean, they're so thrilling.
Yeah.
Precisely because they're earned.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
We're so invested in these characters.
Exactly. The stakes feel incredibly high.
They do.
Because we've gone on this journey with them.
Right.
Spielberg just understands that contrast is key to creating a truly engaging cinematic experience.
Yeah.
You know, the quiet moments make the loud ones more impactful.
Right.
And the moments of tension make the moments of joy even more precious.
It's a masterclass in storytelling.
It is.
And speaking of mastery.
Yes.
I mean, we have to talk about the ending of this film.
Oh.
It's one of the most iconic and emotionally resonant endings in cinematic history.
It's that farewell scene at the spaceship. I mean, it's a masterpiece of visual and emotional storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, the glowing finger, the tearful goodbye, the promise to remember. It's all just so perfectly executed.
It really is.
And it leaves you with this lump in your throat, but also with this sense of hope and wonder.
It's bittersweet.
It is.
But it's so powerful.
Yeah.
It reminds us that even the most profound connections
they can be
temporary.
Yes, temporary.
And that sometimes saying goodbye is the greatest act of love.
It is. Yes.
And it leaves us with this lingering question. What happens next?
Right.
Did E.T. ever return? Did Elliot ever forget his extraordinary friend?
And those are the questions that are left unanswered. And I think that's part of the film's magic.
Right.
It invites us to imagine our own endings.
Right.
To carry the story with us long after the credits have rolled.
You know, it's interesting how E.T. manages to be both timeless and so incredibly relevant to our current moment.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we live in a world that feels increasingly divided.
We do.
You know, where fear and suspicion often overshadow empathy and understanding.
Right.
And E.T. offers this powerful antidote to that.
It does.
Right. It reminds us that connection is possible.
Yes.
Even across these vast differences.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we all share the same basic needs.
Right.
You know, for love, for belonging, for connection.
And it's a challenge to approach the world.
It is.
With that sense of curiosity and openness.
To see the humanity in others, even when they seem different from us.
It's a message that we need now.
We do.
More than ever.
Yeah.
And that message is delivered not through preachy dialogue.
Right.
or heavy-handed moralizing, but through this beautifully crafted story.
Yes.
About a boy and his alien friend.
It's a testament to the power of art to transcend
Yeah.
cultural and generational boundaries and to speak to something universal within us.
E.T. is more than just a film.
It is.
It's a cultural touchstone. It's a reminder of the power of imagination.
Yeah.
And a timeless message of hope and connection.
And it continues to inspire and delight audiences of all ages, which just proves that its magic is truly enduring.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here, exploring E.T.'s plot, characters, themes, visual brilliance, and its enduring legacy. But there's one final thought I want to leave you with. What if the real magic of E.T. isn't about the spaceships or the glowing finger? What if it's really about the transformative power of human connection?
You know, that's a beautiful thought. And I think it's really at the core of what makes this film so profound.
Right.
You know, E.T. reminds us that often these most extraordinary adventures, they begin with a simple act.
Right.
Of reaching out, of opening ourselves up to the unknown.
It's like Elliot extending his hand to E.T. in that dimly lit forest. He could have been afraid.
Right.
But instead, he chose curiosity. He chose connection.
He did.
And that one act changed everything.
And that's the invitation that E.T. extends to each of us. You know, to look for those moments of connection in our own lives, to be the ones who reach out, who bridge the divides, who see the possibility of friendship. Yeah.
Where others might only see difference.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into E.T.,
okay,
I want to ask you a question.
All right.
What alien encounters have you had in your life? Those moments that challenged you, that surprised you, or maybe even changed your perspective.
Think about the people who entered your life unexpectedly. You know, the experiences that pushed you out of your comfort zone, the ideas that shook up your worldview. How did those encounters shape you?
Did they make you retreat into fear? Or did they open your heart to new possibilities? Did they reinforce your existing beliefs?
Yeah.
Or did they challenge you to see the world through different eyes?
Because, you know, those alien encounters, those moments of friction, of discomfort, they're often the catalysts for the most profound growth, right? But they force us to confront our assumptions, to expand our capacity for empathy.
And to discover beauty in the unexpected.
E.T. reminds us that the universe is vast and full of wonders, both within us and beyond us.
It is.
And the greatest adventure of all
might
just be that journey of opening ourselves up to those wonders, embracing the unknown, and allowing ourselves to be transformed by connection.
So go out there and find your E.T. moment. Embrace those alien encounters that life throws your way. You never know where they might lead you.
And remember, sometimes the most extraordinary connections begin with just a simple act of kindness, a willingness to reach out and say hello.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep believing in the magic of connection.